David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So a couple of days ago, a girl from Finland messaged saying she's having a little bit of trouble finding a sober dude in Finland. So I put out the call to the listeners of this podcast to see if we can't find a strapping young lad. And there's been a little bit of a response. Who would have thought dudes would want to try and hook up with a 26-year-old girl from Finland? So date nights could be a new thing on this podcast. We could be fucking matchmaking here. It's perfect as well because you're all fuck-ups in some way or another. You can just be honest with each other. Yeah, I'm a fuck-up. That's why I'm listening to the podcast. Even Spotify could tell I was a fuck-up just by the music I listened to. That's why they recommended me the podcast. So if you're like a single chick out there or you're a fucking single dude out there and you're sick of the vacuous hellhole that fucking Tinder is, then send in your resume. A couple of dudes have sent in like full resumes. Not like fucking your work resume. Like, yeah, I'm a little bit of a fuck up. I'm going through a divorce at the moment. I'm going to read them out fucking Tuesday. Maybe tomorrow actually, but the Finnish girl's in Amsterdam. She's on holiday at the moment, so I don't know if I'll get a reply. But either tomorrow or Tuesday, I'll start reading out the resumes of these guys and we'll see if we can start making some matches. So if you're single, you're fucking sober, it's mainly for sober people, all right? If you're still drinking, just get drunk and go to a bar. You're fine. You'll figure it out. This is for people that are sober and want to meet someone like-minded. By like-minded, I mean another complete fuck-up that's trying to turn their life around. I haven't really thought about it before, but it would actually be hard trying to find someone suitable when you're sober. You sort of need someone who's like-minded, who's on the same sort of path. Because if you start dating a real fucking party animal, you're fucked. And because you're like an ex-party animal that had to give it away, you can't fucking go to a nerd. You can't go to someone that's never drunk before. You're not on the same wavelength. You need to have someone who was a party animal but is like retiring. You need a reformed fuck-up, which is also dangerous as well because it's a fucking fine line. But reformed fuck-ups are generally good people. Like, they have a lot of issues. I mean, they've got stuff they're still working on, but who doesn't? They've got their hands full inside their own head, but who doesn't? They'll sit and stare off into the distance at brunch and mumble to themselves, but who fucking doesn't? I fucking kill that fucking... Our bruschetta's here. Fucking cunt. But generally, reform fuck-ups have seen it all. They've done it all. They won't judge you for your past. Their past is worse. Also, you don't need to tell everything about your past either. I highly recommend you keep some things to yourselves. But I think this could work out all right. I don't know how it's going to work. All I'm going to do is I'll read out some of the resumes. I'll read out some of the applications as well. Some of the shit the dudes wrote in is fucking funny too. So that's a good start as well. These are funny cunts. So we'll get the ball rolling with this one, see how it all plays out, how it works, because it's got to be entertaining as well. But I think it will be entertaining. We'll have like the job offer, the application, then we'll have the meetup, and then we'll have like the fucking 6 months later segment. How did it turn out? He looked nothing like his picture, and he turned up to the restaurant. He looked like he was on heroin. Regardless of what happens, it's going to be entertaining. And I just want there to be one couple out there in the world when people ask them how you met, they can say, we met through Boyle's podcast. Remember back in the day, it was only like 6 or 7 years ago. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe about 8 years ago now, or 9. When you would meet a couple and they met on the internet, you'd be like, ugh, you're not a real couple. Ugh. I used to look down on those couples. Technically, I still do, but it's less frowned upon now. But that reaction is going to be the same reaction people have when you tell them you met through a podcast. Specifically, Boyle's podcast. And when you get married and have kids and shit, I just want you to tell your kids that. But I also want a picture of my headshot in the living room. Kind of like a Jesus figure, you know what I mean? And it doesn't just have to be a listener of this podcast. If you've got a loser friend that's still single, a happy fucking single person, just get them to send in their resume and application too. It's open for everyone, and you're better off rolling the dice here than rolling the dice on Tinder and Bumble or whatever. So get everyone involved. Get your loser single friends, get your fucking widowed auntie, get your separated dad. Just get everyone. Just get them to send in. So send your date night information to boylecomedy@gmail.com. Just in the subject line, put date night resume, and then just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, how long you've been sober, what you're looking for, where you live. You know, just try and get the job, whatever the job is. And I suppose if you still drink, if you don't have a problem with alcohol, although that's a little bit tricky because most of you don't know you have a problem with alcohol. But let's say you're just a casual drink. Mention your drinking situation, actually. We're mainly looking for sober bitches and sober cunts, though. But also, get your friends involved. We need to make some matches here. Anyway, I'm excited to see what the fuck happens. So send in your resumes. You know where to. boylecomedy@gmail.com. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see ya the fuck later.